up, witches? What is up, my witches? You know, the damn remote. Do you see my... I think I showed them to you last time. My lovely little candles. I'm going to turn them down a bit. Oh, and then I got to do this. Hold up. Okay. How are you all? Let's see how things are going. I may turn this down just a little bit so I don't feel like I'm yelling over it. How are you all doing? I'm so happy to see you here. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Roxanne. Hello, Darcy. Hi, Becca. Hi, Tavia. Hello, Samantha. Welcome to everyone. Big, huge welcome. Cheers. Cheers. Who said that? Oh my goodness. Yes. Halloween orange. And I've kind of changed my brightness and contrast a little bit to make it look a little more spooky and ominous. And I just shot 3 videos today, all about my my spooky season decks. And the first one's going to drop at midnight tonight, and it is the autumnal vibe decks. So we're kind of easing in. The second one, part 2, will be specifically Halloween decks, and part 3 is Samhain decks. So I've got those shot and one uploaded and the second one produced, and I'm not sure, you know, how and exactly when they'll drop, but be watching for those. They were fun to make because, you know, no test drives, just kind of playing with my decks. And you know how much I love that. Thank you. Yes, these are the second iteration of my spooky earrings, and I changed them so they're not floofy at the bottom, and I love how they came out. So, and I will tell you, hi, Catherine. I will tell you, I am doing so much better, and I, you know, was already doing better getting past the Epstein-Barr thing. What happened last week was something different. It was one of my other disorders. It was my connective tissue disorder. And what happened was I had been beading, and just I really went at it. And you would think, you know, I sit in the chair like this. I've got arms to rest my arms on, and I have a magnifying glass, but most of the time my right arm is not, you know, my elbow's not resting, so I'm holding up this arm. Well, the muscles up here went off because they're not used to getting used even to that degree. Not like I'm lifting weights or anything. I'm just holding up the weight of my arm, and you know, this too, fine motor stuff. And I got to a point, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, that it hit. And boy, it hit like a ton of bricks. And what happens is the pain went off. It started with just my arms, both arms aching so badly. And then I have to go through the whole thing of, am I getting sick? And then my going into the pain reaction, my entire system went off and just clobbered me. At the same time that happened, it got seriously cold here. I mean, tonight, is it tonight? It's going down to like 31. So, boom, boom, boom. My connective tissue, my immune disorder, my fibromyalgia, that's probably not fibromyalgia, all of that went off, and I was just, for several days, all I could do was sleep. So, much better now. And yes, I am back to beading, and I'm getting those muscles tuned up. You know, I don't have them sitting here where I can show you, but I've got some pretty cool new things that I'm very excited about. At any rate, I'm also very excited to be here with you tonight, and I don't have any more introduction than that, which is kind of stunning for me. So we can just jump right in. I take it since we're... Hi, Sherry. Welcome, dear. I take it since we are speaking and responding that the sound is good. Thumbs up, yes. I'm sure if it wasn't, somebody would have said something. You guys are awesome that way. Okay. So, let's look at our decks for tonight. We have And so the ones I'm starting with tonight are, I believe all of them were in the first video of the autumnal vibe. So the first one we have is the Hush Tarot. And this one I described as being organically dark. So it is a dark deck in that it deals with the forces of nature that have things growing and dying and returning to the soil. And there are dead things in it, but it's organically dark. So not like, you know, a dark overlay, evil forces, anything like that. Then we have the Oracle of Shadows and Light. And this is a Lucy and Jasmine deck. Lucy Cavendish, Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Griffith? Yes, Griffith, no S. Then we have Grimalkin's Curious Cats, which was a gift deck from Tavia. Thank you so much, Tavia. Every time, and I say this in the videos, every time I open and use one of these gift decks, I speak your name and send you blessings. Then we have, as you might recognize, as I unboxed it like last week, the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco and Kinga Britchke. Then we've got the Darkwood Tarot by Sasha Graham and Abigail Larson. Oh, goodness. I'm running out of room. And then The Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar and Danuta Mayer. All right. And I will just say, as I also state in the videos, I could have pulled so many more decks, but just because it had the name Witch or Wizard in it didn't necessarily mean that it's a Samhain vibe deck for me. And there are some that could have been included that I didn't, just, you know, all of my Wicca decks. So, you know, where to stop. The first video had 14 decks in it, and I think the next two had at least as many in each. So, yeah, lots of decks. Anyhow, the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Yeah. Baby Joe, welcome, sweetie. Yay, I'm so glad you're here. You did make it in time. You know, whenever you make it is exactly on time. It's exactly right. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a grounding, eh? Let your breath out. Settle down into your body. Feel your skin. Feel your buttocks on your seat. Or your seat on the surface, or however you want to say it. And sink down to that level. Just kind of bring your attention and your energy, just let it come down low into your body. So that we are like grounded right at the foundation there. And now, since we're down there nice and low, let's send a root down from the base of the spine, from the root chakra, down into the earth. And as that root grows into the earth, just let go after it anything that you don't need for this time or place, any worries about tomorrow, any stressors, tensions, about anything that you don't need to give your attention to right at this moment. Just let it go. And then let's start allowing earth energy to come up that root. You can let it follow the breath, or you can just let it flow on its own, however it appears for you, however it works for you. Feel it flowing up into your body. The first thing it does is flow down your legs, a rush of wonderful energy. And as that energy flows through all of your tissues, it chases away anything that doesn't need to be there. And then once your legs are filled up, it starts to fill up your pelvis. It starts to move up into your belly, up into your chest, up into your shoulders. When it hits your shoulders, it rushes down your arms, and you feel your fingertips tingle. And then up through your neck, up into your head. Woof. Let's let your breath all the way out. Take a deep breath in, pull up more energy. Release just the breath. And again, releasing just the breath. And again. Bright, 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 out the crown. You can even use your arms to follow the energy all around, and you can see it going out to arm's length. Sometimes we have our energy field and, our shell of protection close to the body. Sometimes it's out far. It just depends on the circumstances. But assuming that you are in a safe and familiar place and you're very comfortable, it can be out kind of farther from your body and giving you lots of room to move. And you feel it come down around you and touch the earth, come down and hug that root. Back down into the ground. And now opening up the crown to the cosmos and feeling the silver blue of cosmic star energy, space energy. Vast and limitless, flowing down in. Joining up with that earth energy, connecting, spinning. All through your body. And as these units spin, they just send out flashes and sparks of healing energy, energizing, enlivening, relaxing, healing. And that flows down, down, down through your whole body. Every little spark of earth energy attracts a spark of cosmic energy, and it flows out through your root, joins the egg, and back up the outside and out into space. And let's have my sage is dwindling. But dwindling or not, I offer you this smoke cleanse. May it purify and charge the space that you're in. Light 'em if you got 'em. I'm just going to take a little bit to wash myself with. And then I offer you water and earth in this ocean water. May you be blessed and made whole. And let the bell clear the space around us. Aligning the molecules in the air, aligning them for connection, for information flow. And to set our intention to get wonderful messages, to share in community, connecting with each other, and then to bring our minds into sharp focus. Everything that's left over that we don't need right now falls away. And then we welcome in guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I offer you fresh water, and I offer you this fire. Where am I going? This fire of Azrael. And fair warning, I'm going to have to take a slight break soon. Should I do it now? I'll do it before we get started. So let's see where we are in the drums. I got 2 minutes. I can do this in 2 minutes. BRB. Alrighty then, I'm back. Thank you so much. I had like 5 or so. I went downstairs, had some dinner, and then promptly fell asleep on the couch, and I could have kept on sleeping. So it's like, oh hell no, because I mean it is cold. So I had a wonderful cup of coffee with Ovaltine and milk in it. It was so good. Okay, let's catch up with some messages here. Yay for snickerdoodles. Yum, yum, yum. Namo! Yes, yes indeed. All right. And I've got, I have my browser open. It was hanging up on me earlier, but I think it's because I had like 4 tabs open to my channel as I was putting in timestamps and links to unboxings for the video that's dropping at midnight. So, okay, off we go then. I've got my shit incredibly together tonight, and I want to show you this from my wonderful friend Darcy. This was a gift that she gave me was it just last week? Or the week before? Look at this. Isn't it incredible? And this came from the collection of a friend of ours who passed, what was it, like 20 years ago. So, Beth, we honor you tonight and we welcome you here. And please, Beth, darling, feel free to jump on in and play. Eh, what? Beth was a Welsh witch. And I mean true Welsh witch. Her parents were Welsh. So, all right. 13 watching right now. Let the magic begin. All right, dice. What do we need to focus on tonight for this Samhain season? Moving into the dark. It keeps getting darker and darker. We have Neptune in Cancer. Ooh. And let's see. Neptune in Cancer in the 5th house. This is all about the arts. Neptune is a connection with everything, with all that is. Neptune is the dissolver, so it dissolves the boundaries to the point that we can pick up the vibes of art and truth and beauty that are just sort of flowing around in the universe, right? Neptune gives us access to that. And that comes in as inspiration, which is why, Neptune is known as the dissolver, and also why Neptune is the ruler of artists. Hold up. Okay, no, my camera's crooked. Anyway, you can't tell, so who cares? So Neptune, all of the arts. So we're talking about inspiration here. And in Cancer, it's sensitivity, emotional sensitivity. Neptune makes you sensitive. Cancer is ruled by the moon, which is sensitivity and water, both very watery, a watery planet, a watery sign. And fifth house is Leo's natural house, and that's the house of fun and creativity. And children, the things we make, the things we create. So what do we do with this inspiration that we are so sensitive to right now? And hands up, who is finding themselves like extra sensitive these days? And I'm not talking about just, recently. I'm talking about the last, over the summer even, maybe before that, but just increased sensitivity. Incredible. So what do we do with this increased sensitivity? Let's point it towards inspiration and bringing that inspiration in and creating something of beauty. And what Neptune does, because people can make art that is pretty and that is attractive and, that makes people happy, like all the art that you see like in hotel rooms and, the what's his name, Bob Ross paintings, where it's, pretty and you go, wow, isn't that something? But it doesn't like make you cry or piss you off or anything like that. And that's sort of the product of craft, of skill and craft, and being able to produce something pretty like that, even beautiful. But when we're talking about art in the realm of Neptune, we are talking about art that dissolves the boundary between the creator and the receiver to the point that it invokes in the viewer or the listener or the experiencer, whatever kind of art it is, or the reader, it invokes in the receiver that same emotion that the artist was tapping into. So, when someone can go and look at a work of art and stand there weeping because they've connected with something deep inside themselves. Well, the artist had to connect to begin with, or the viewer would not be able to feel that. So that's what we're talking about, real art. And there is beauty in real art, even if it's ugly, even if it's not visually pleasing. And there's, I even said this in one of the videos, there was a saying that God makes women beautiful and the devil makes them pretty. So it's, I don't like the God-devil thing there, but it does talk about kind of pretty being a surface thing and beauty being something much, much deeper altogether and far outside of the realm of pleasing or displeasing. Okay, so let's put these over here and continue on. All right, catching up, I see some messages going by. We're still talking tea and mocha. And yes, timekeeper crystal. Oh, yes. An open nerve. Yes. Way, way, way more sensitive. Yeah, I agree, Samantha. Since last spring, it's just like, how sensitive can I be? And, to the point where when I was having the pain reaction and feeling shitty to begin with, and then suddenly I'm sleeping all the time and I'm like, oh my God, am I going into another EBV flare now? And then it was like, no, honey, you're that sensitive to the weather change. That's all. You're just that sensitive. So, yes, Samantha, that's not a but. Art can also help us deal with the heavier things. And so, yes, it invokes whatever, heavy, light, whatever. It invokes, it stirs something, but most especially, it connects the artist with the receiver. Okay. The Starry Night. Yeah. Ah, Tavia. Years ago, this was like in the late 80s, I believe. I went up to Cleveland to the Impressionists exhibit. And I had similar experiences standing in front of those real things where you can see the brush strokes. You can see the energy that was moving through that hand by the way the paint is lifting up off the canvas. And yes, I know. Yeah, I get it. Oh, yep. Okay, everybody. Let's get it going here. Let's take the tiny die off. And my guides and guardians, hey gang, who are we talking to first? Number 5, the dark wood. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, I do have the book here, but I'm going to go off the cuff as much as humanly possible. Let's give him a souffle. A souffle. This is, sorry, I gotta smoke them up again. At the risk of causing myself a headache, but all right, let us in. Let us into the dark wood, please. Dark wood, what do you have to tell us? They're telling me that I want to take one and then put cards underneath it. So we'll see how that goes. There's our one. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So she's going to talk to us about our resources, our using of our resources, our physical bodies, how we nurture, how we provide, how we sustain. And here's everybody else. This one came out first. Okay. Hanged Man and 2 sevens. 7 of Cords. Swords, cups, chords, and swaps. Okay. So, the Hanged Man talks about the pause that we are in right now. We are in the pause. We are in that liminal space of not knowing. And what's the biggest arena of this not knowing for us here in the U.S.? It's the coming election and all the shit that is still like right in the middle. Everything's in the middle. We're in the middle of this turmoil, of this maelstrom. And the Hanged Man talks about pausing, taking the pause, and changing perspective. It talks about being able to relax into that pause, not collapse into it, but relax within it. Okay? I'm trying to think of which deck it is that uses those words, and I love them so much, talking about do not collapse into. So we are not in this pause and just going, okay, I give up in frustration. We recognize that there's a pause and we willingly say, all right, I'm going to relax within this pause. I'm going to be in my body. There's Queen of Pentacles. And then 7 of Swords. Okay, wow, let's see, the Thief card. The 7 of Swords and the 7 of Cups. So what is the Thief here? It's all the illusions, the different ways that our mind gets pulled when we are in anxiety, when we are in that pause and we don't have the answers. We go to, well, this could happen or that could happen or that could happen, and envisioning these possible outcomes. And that is a thief. That's the thief of our energy. It's the thief of time. Let's take a couple clarifiers here. Here's the Devil. Okay. So it is indeed the thief, and it's where we can become toxic to ourselves because we get lost in all the ways that it can go wrong. All the many, many ways. Then we have 9 of Pentacles here. So what do we need to do? We need to build ourselves a boundary, a living barrier between our physical being, our physical energy system, and all of that shit out there that we can't do anything about, that we just have to hang out and wait and see. So for me, this has been, beating and shooting these videos and everything. I'm spending so little time on Facebook lately. And on anything else. The videos, the channels that I subscribe to suddenly got very boring to me. And I'm like so jazzed about making things with beads and putting on my little fireplace. And I did myself a solid here. I have put a timer on my coffee pot. And you guys know my coffee pot is here in my bedroom, our bedroom. And so before I go to bed at night, I set up the coffee pot, but now I don't even have to get up in the morning and turn it on. I wake up to the smell of coffee. I wake up to the gurgling and I smell the coffee, and I get out of bed and it's right there ready for me. And I can sit down and I turn on the TV and put on my real-time fireplace. So I hear that as well, and then I can sit down and kind of catch up with things, and then right away it's going to creative, getting your hands on things that give you joy, actually using your hands, being in the physical, not in the cerebral and the emotional. Because the sevens here are talking about us getting distracted mentally. What is the thief of our mental energy, and what is the thief of our emotional energy? The devil validates that those things can be very toxic when we get lost in them. And then the Nine of Pentacles says time to draw a boundary. Then we've got the Knight of Cups. So we want to be that peaceful warrior. We want to stand up for ourselves and say, this is not how I want to do it. This is, the tail is wagging the dog. We're going to reclaim our physical space. Both the Queen and the Nine talk about that, reclaiming our physical space, and so we can be in this pause in the healthiest way possible, because we're so sensitive, All right. Good message. Damn. Good message. I think I'm going to just shuffle that out and say thank you, Darkwood. What an amazing deck. All right. Who is next? The sword that cuts the cord. No, we just did that one. It wants to go again, but no. We each get one turn. Okay, you each get one turn. You guys, they each get one turn. Who's up next? 6. This is the Witch's Oracle. Sally Morningstar. All right. It really is something to experience different card stocks back to back. All right. Yes, I like it quick and clear too, Samantha. Let us in, please. What would you like to tell us about tonight? Okay. And 2 and 3. We have Wisdom Keeper. We have Awakening Bell. And we have the Holy Stone Protection. Oh my goodness, look at these. All right. Look at the Wisdom Keeper. Look at the keyhole here. And up above the head in this yonic form here, we have the key. And she is dressed as the owl. Have any of you watched, it's on Hulu, and I understand it's on FX too. Have you watched Reservation Dogs? Fabulous show. It's Taika Waititi. He's the executive producer. And it is First Nations people. It's a show about these kids on a reservation, the reservation dogs, and it is wonderful. It's funny. It'll make you cry. It's just an amazing, amazing show. And you will notice that anytime there is an owl, like a figure of an owl, the eyes are pixelated out. And somebody asked, why is that? And it's because in Native American culture, the owl is a harbinger of doom, of, bad things and death. And so they, even just watching TV, they don't want that coming across to people that are viewing. And it reminds me of a story about Beth. We were going to a powwow up at Kent State. And Beth had this, and I mean, she was a witch, but she and her husband did a lot of stuff with Native American spirituality. And she went to this powwow in this black leather dress, full length, with her owl wing wand. And boy, howdy, were they freaking out. Yes, they were. Yes, indeed. You remember that, Darce? Of course she does. I know she does. So the wisdom keeper here, and let's look at that. The owl can be to some that really scary, nighttime flyer. So you can think about nightmares and bringing dreams and scary things, but look at the keyhole. When we can face the things that cause us fear, we can really get to the big wisdom. We get to the big stuff because we find the truth of it. As long as we are locked in fear and not able to approach the things that scare us, we can't find out what's there. We are in kind of imprisoned in our own mind, in our own thoughts. Kind of like that 7 of Cups and 7 of Swords there. But if we can face it and look it in the eyes and walk to it, we find the truth of it. And indeed, sometimes the truth of it is big and scary. But most of the time we're going to find that we are up to the task. Or at least there's more there than just fear. Okay. Then we have Bell. Ding! Awakening. So we're being called here to open our eyes and to, like that hanged man, to just be there, relaxed, receptive, waiting. The Neptune and Cancer thing, receptive. So receptive, willing to go forward, receptive and awake. And then the Holy Stone here is protection. But what I'm focusing on is that hole, because that's the way through. That is the way through. That's the passage. So at Samhain season, and, I apologize to those who are celebrating Beltane season. I mean, you go, man. Beltane is fabulous, but I got to be where I am. So at Samhain season, I was initiated. Actually, yesterday was the anniversary of my initiation, and let me think. 89. So 2009, 2019. All right, hold on. 99, 2009, 2019, and 3 years. 33 years ago, I was initiated. Yesterday was my 33-year anniversary of my first degree initiation. And there's a reason we do them at Samhain time, because that veil is thin. And, that's the increased sensitivity as well, is the veil between life and death is thinning. And it thins as well at Beltane, but it is much more profound at Samhain. When I put up the video of the Samhain decks, I'll talk more about that stuff. But the Holy Stone here says that it is time for us to approach that passage. It can be tight, a bit of a tight squeeze, but look around it is the stone. It's protection. It's solid. So if we choose to enter into that passageway, if we choose to take that path of initiation, know that we are protected in that. We hear the bell that wakes us up that says you're up, you're due for a change, you're due for a passage, and we can know that we're protected. And I want to show you the the figure here. Do you see the wings? So this is guides and guardians, my gang that are here with me all the time. Let me catch up with messages. A maelstrom. Oh, Samantha, that's perfect. All you have to do is switch two groups of letters around. Indeed. Okay. Owl is portal. Okay. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Here's the keyhole. This is, that's actually the symbol of air. One would think it's earth, but it's not. That's the symbol of air. Kind of interesting. I wouldn't think of that. Well, yes, with the bell, I guess I can get to air there. It's just in an interesting place, and one that would, make me think of earth. So there's a passage there, and there's the passage there. So indeed, we are called, as we always are, to step up and step through. Center of a holy stone, a portal. Yeah, absolutely. We do have a theme going. Yes, we do. Oh, point well taken. Oh, okay. So it was Catherine that made the maelstrom thing. Brilliant, darling. That is absolutely brilliant. Yes, it is. It is. Okay. Thank you. Witches Oracle. This was the deck that my patrons bought last month. And it's a good one. All righty then. Who's up next? Number 2. Oracle of Shadows and Light. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. What do you have to tell us in this Samhain season? I also have coming in the next few days chart reading for the new moon and for the full moon after that. My patrons have already seen these videos. I think I may reshoot the full moon one. Doing it back to back kind of watered down the way I viewed the full moon chart, so I might have another stab at that. I'm not sure. Yes, thank you, Samantha, for correcting me there. And giving credit where it's due, because that's fucking brilliant. All right. Tell your witches what you need us to know. All right. All right, there's one. Yeah. There's 2. One more, please. And oh, look, what do we see? Keyholes. One more, please. May I, Mother, may I? Oop. No, more than one went flying. 3 more went flying. So we will, 2 of them came face up. I'm going to put those together, and I'm going to put that one there. Let's take a look. We have the dried flower fairy, which says sweet memories. Then we have Angel of Time, working too hard, she says. And then, oh, okay. I don't think, are there reverses in this deck? No, there are not, so I'm going to turn it. I mean, it's a deck of shadows and light. It's got the up and the down built in. Witch at the end of the world, an important end, a new beginning. And then, okay, let's look at these 3 first. So, sweet memories. This is another thing that we're doing at Samhain time, is we are remembering those that have gone before. We're remembering the ancestors. And let's acknowledge the different varieties of ancestors. We have our blood ancestors that, we are direct descendants of. And if you go back, every generation you go back, your number of grandparents doubles. So you have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, 16 great great grandparents. By the time you get back to around 20 generations, it's over 1 million. Let it sink in for a hot second there. Over 1 million people whose genetic material has funneled into you. So you've got your blood ancestors. Then you have your cultural ancestors. So you can look at, the culture that those ancestors came from, and this also includes past life stuff, cultures that you just really feel drawn to. Those are your cultural ancestors. Then we have the spiritual ancestors. So again, cultures and spiritual practices that you feel drawn to. So Samhain time is when we remember and we honor. And we can do that by just kind of looking at our lives today and seeing how we've been influenced by those cultures. Angel of Time. Okay. I mean, she says working too hard, but I want to follow on this. Sweet Memories and the Angel of Time. I was watching, what the hell was I watching? That was all about time and how it flows, and how this idea we have of time flowing in a linear fashion from past to future is just not a construct that gets borne up in physics at all, in quantum physics in particular. So we need to look at sort of our concept of time and how it affects us. But we need to acknowledge, too, the working too hard thing and look at what we expect of ourselves in a particular time frame. So we have a particular time frame. What do we expect of ourselves that we expect ourselves to accomplish a certain amount of things in a particular time frame? This is a call to acknowledge that we're trying to cram too much into a particular time frame. So we either need to find a way to expand that concept of time so our experience of it flows differently and we don't feel pushed and rushed and crammed, or we need to whittle down what it is we're expecting of ourselves and recognize that we're going into the dark part of the year where, the hibernation feelings start coming up, and we need to just be gentle with ourselves. So this is a call to just check it out. Check out how time is flowing, what you're expecting of yourself in a particular time frame, and adjust accordingly. Which at the end of the world says an important end, a new beginning. There it is. Samhain. Beginning and end. Okay. And here we go. Sea storm. And we're back to the Hanged Man from the Darkwood. Sea storm says calm amid chaos. So even if we have a time frame and we are expected, maybe not by ourselves, but by, our life around us, our work, whatever, we are expected to accomplish certain things. What if we approach those things in a calm way? In a calm and trusting way. I trust myself that I'm going to get this done. I don't have to rush. Kind of like when I get into the car and think, I've got things to do. And it's like, slow the fuck down. You can't get there before you get there. Things take the time that they take. So we might as well move through that time in a calm and healthy and safe way. And in a way that doesn't add tension to what we're already doing. And then we have Violet Angel, and she says, breaking dawn. So, breaking dawn, this is that initiation thing. Dark night of the soul, big change. We adjust our relationship to time and what we expect of ourselves. And then things dawn on us. We have a new understanding. And look what comes out last. Out trick-or-treating, it says, we're here. Okay, so that to me is just saying approach with humor. approach, like with the trickster energy yourself, you know? When you're out trick-or-treating, sometimes you go up to a house and they're all decorated and things are scary when you go up to the door, but you can scare right back. You know, you can play those tricks as well. So kind of tapping into trickster energy. But for me, it's really just talking about approaching with humor, approaching with the idea of fun of the season. Okay, let's see here. Wants to get your attention. Yep. You are the result of the love of thousands. Absolutely. Millions, literally. Slow down and let the flow find you. That's excellent, Catherine. Absolutely. Slow down, let the flow. And just acknowledge that things take the time they take. We can't make it go faster. Like when you're in the car, and this is one of my spiritual practices, is driving the speed limit. No matter who's on my ass, no matter, you know, what time it is and when I think I'm going to get there, just drive the speed limit. And I drop into that trust of my car is taking me there. I will get there in time. I will get there in the time it takes, and it will be the right time. So, okay. Daniel Craig's story, Princess Anne just knighted him into the same order that James Bond is in, and they send out a press release that just said, "We've been expecting you." We're here. So this is you arriving. Here I am. I'm here. So again, showing up to your life and showing up to your guides, showing up in a spiritually connected way. That's kind of that bell here, just saying, here I am. I'm showing up. This reminds me of the very first ritual I ever did. I was a baby witch. I was with a group of people in Kent, and you know, some of you have heard these stories before, but this was when I was working at a college of medicine. Horrible job, stressed, unbelievable, toxic situation. And okay, I just completely lost the train of thought. We're here. Okay, apparently I'm not supposed to tell that story. All right. Talk about trickster energy. Oh, yes, the first ritual I ever did. So downtown Kent at that time, there was a shop that opened up called the Rowanwood Tree. Okay. And all the baby witches kind of, and I had just gotten to the place of going, you know what? I need to get back to, I had already met my first witches when I was 18. At this point, I was 30. And it's like, okay, I'm ready. I am ready to start studying again. Within that week, a friend came up and said, "Oh, did you hear about the new shop that opened in Kent? It's called the Rowanwood Tree, and it's a witch shop." And I'm like, oh my God, there we go. When the student's ready, the teacher shows up, right? So go down there and meet people and start learning things. And that ended up being a very toxic situation as well. I learned an awful lot. But I remember New Year's Eve, staying home and doing my first ritual. And I spent the entire day, like in meditation, setting the altars for the elements and just doing this. But the ritual consisted of casting the circle, calling the quarters, raising energy, and then sitting down naked in front of my altar going, here I am. Hi, it's me. Here I am. And then I ate my cakes and wine and partied. And I woke up the next morning, or I was awakened the next morning, by a female voice this close to my left ear saying, "Lisa." Found out many years later that the goddess Tara has an emanation that is known as Tara the Melodious Voice. Fun stories. Okay. So, how can you arrive, make yourself ready, and show up for spirit and say, hey, here I am, I'm ready. Who's next? Number 1. Shh, it's the hush. The hush tarot. All righty. Gosh, we've been through, what, 3 decks already? 1, 2, 3? Yeah. Been through 3 decks already, and it's only been an hour. Interesting how time flows, eh? One more riffle. You know, I have so many stories that when I say them out loud, they sound kooky to me. You know, you become aware when you have these incredibly magical experiences. There's kind of this duality that you live in. You know that it's something you experienced. It's very real. And yet, when you were there, it's real, you experienced it, but then, you have to select who you tell stories to, because you can be telling a story, and as an empath, I can be telling a story to someone and I can immediately feel the disbelief. And then I think, I don't blame you because it sounds kooky to me too. But this is where then we just, and it's very tempting when you start to experience real magic. It's tempting to want to just blast it out to the world, you want to tell everybody. But then you learn to hold these things, in your heart, because these are sacred and precious. And you don't want to cast those pearls before swine. You want to, and you also want to protect yourself from the judgment and the disbelief and things like that. But you can, like I said, one of the things I'm learning as I get older is how to keep my mouth shut. All right, we've got one. We've got a queen, the Queen of Cups. Oh, dear. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, 1, 2. The Queen of Cups, the Page of Pentacles. And then we have Judgment. What were we just talking about? The judgment of others? The disbelief of others? Okay. Let's see here. I'm catching up again. yes. When people, and it's so funny because I catch myself doing this too. Other people tell me a story, I feel my own doubt coming up. And it's just, doubt can be such a thief. Remember that 7 of Swords? Okay. Chuckles, not trouble. Two of my grandchildren were over here the other day. They decided they wanted to direct leaves into a donut shape on my front lawn. A couple minutes later, look down, and they each have a stick in their hands, and they're singing this little melody. Sounds interesting. What are you doing? The youngest looked at me with only the disdain that only a child can have and said, "It's a celebratory kind of thing, Nana. It's our way of saying goodbye to summer for now." Well, they come by that honestly, don't they? Hold on. All right. Queen of Cups, Page of Pentacles. Queen of Cups is the water of water. Sensitivity, empathy, psychic ability. The trust. She's about trust. Trusting those feelings, trusting those sensations, just trusting the information that comes through that sensitivity, information that comes through the emotional body, information that comes through the physical body. And the Page of Cups is about the physical and about being willing to learn. So being the student, being open to learn, and letting the sensitivity that we're all in now teach us even further. Then we've got the Judgment card, and she's looking back at these. So what does that tell you? That really is talking about doubting what you feel and doubting the lessons that you're learning or judging them. But judgment is also transformation. It's also death and rebirth. And one of the things that we can look at is how our culture from the witch burnings, from times way, way, way before that, have done their level best to stamp out women's sensitivity, women's incredible intuitive and psychic knowledge, the ability to know, the ability to pick up the vibe, the ability to suss people out without getting to know them, the ability to know who you can trust and who you can't trust. And then the circles of women that got together to talk about who you can trust or who you can't trust. So we have been under the judgment of our culture, and now it is time to transform that judgment. And there's an inevitability about the judgment card because it is about death and rebirth, and death is inevitable. Period. End of sentence. Done. Death is inevitable. It hasn't been the women that are harping on about, longevity and living forever because we know better. That's not the way of being incarnate. The journey of being incarnate includes birth and death. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, lots of quartz. Then we have the Knight of Cups. Okay, they make a second appearance tonight. So that's putting this sensitivity into action. This being able to learn from that sensitivity into action. What do we have to offer? The Knight of Cups says, I have something to offer you. And we do. Our wisdom is incredibly valuable. And we are suffering. One of the reasons we're suffering so badly on this planet is because of the concerted effort to stamp out women and what we know and what we feel and what we can do. Then here we've got the Eight of Wands. Is that the Eight of Wands? Is that a sword? Hold on. Pretty sure that's a wand. Let me just take a look in the deck here. I haven't looked at these in a while. I do believe that is... Oh, yes, that's a wand. Okay. So the Eight of Wands is about action. Action. So we judge, we learn, we feel, we know, we make a decision, and then we put it into action. Ta-da! Hee-haw! Off we go. And the Eight of Wands says, get moving. The time is now. Interesting that the Eight of Wands in this deck is a very static looking card. I mean, we've got the birds here, but they're not in motion. I'm going to go to the book. Where are ya? Cups, swords, pentacles. The wands come at the end. Well, all right. Eight of Wands, upright. Direction. Yes, direction. Confusion has subsided and your vision is back on track. The ideas and opinions of the flock are no longer in the way. Judgment. No longer in the way. The male cardinals stand out with their boisterous voices and their eye-catching red plumage. Each bird sits atop a flowering growth, springing from everything you have hoped for and dreamed of. The female cardinal is not as brightly colored, but she is very determined in her direction. Your will has set you apart from the crowd. So there's talking about the female being set apart from the males. How interesting is that? And it is time for action. Then we have the Emperor, and we have another one here, which is the Eight of Pentacles. So this is talking about skill, getting tools in your hands, what tools are available to me to implement the things I have to offer. The Emperor is about power and authority. The power that rests with me. What am I going to do with that power? I'm going to fucking get busy. I'm going to create something new. I'm going to create something based on this women's sensitivity and knowledge and my own inspiration and my own artistry and creativity. Practice. Eight of Pentacles is all about practice. All right, catching up. What's the middle card in the top row? That is the Page of Pentacles. Here, let me spread them out a little bit so you can see the images a little better. There's the page. It's a very feminine deck. There we go. Absolutely exquisite artwork. Look at the rams. The artwork is so subtle and exquisite that those didn't even jump out at me until I made it big there like that. But look at the knight, you know. Definitely feminine. Riding on a crow. There's another crow here. Lots of birds in this deck. So I look at the Emperor as the card of the buck stops here. So look at, you know, where that buck stops in your life, and then it's time to tap into those resources and pick up the tools and get busy. All right. Let's see. Catching up. Yes, it is the Page of Pentacles. Paying attention to who and what and where you're sending your energy. Yep. Right on. Congruency. Alignment. All of your skills and talents. Don't be afraid to be enlarged and in charge. That was supposed to be use all your skills and talents. Okay. It is a truly, truly beautiful deck. And it's not, like I say in the video that you will see tonight or tomorrow, it is not dark in meaning at all. It is organically dark. Okay. Yep, play is how we create, play is how we learn as well. Okay. Shuffle that one out and let's move on. So we have 3 and 4 left. So tell me, oh guides and guardians, number 3 or number 4, which is it? Number 4. Which is deep, dark, and dangerous. No, dark is not macabre. The bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night. If the dark was evil, would we feel safe enough to sleep? All right. Now, what do you have to tell us, deep, dark, and dangerous? I just want to pause for a second and say how delighted I am to be able to sit here with the perfect number of people for a circle. The perfect number, because we can interact with each other, we can know each other. I watch live streams sometimes where there's, 200 people in the chat room to begin with, and the messages are scrolling, and they're trying to say hi to everybody and trying to look at questions and it's so hectic. And then I'm watching readers that are, I'm going to do a live stream, and they're doing the, like pounding their cards to death to get things to fly out, and just one card by blah, 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 here's your card, it says this, and then moving on. And it's like, I don't like that. I am so glad to have friends here. And the ability to sit and play, engage in sacred play. Okay. They want me to turn them this way, and they're easier for jumpers. Yes, easier. They said, please turn them. We can't make them jump when you're doing them the other way. All right. goes another one. One, okay. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. So the first one is Lemure, and I'm going to look. This deck is divided, if you haven't seen the unboxing, and this is my Patreon deck for this month. It's divided into deep and dark and dangerous. So Lemure, let's find out what group this one's in. And you just have to look through. Yes, there are numbers. Okay, that's good. It's the last one in the dark category. And the key word here is loneliness. Oh my. I couldn't even get that word out without feeling tears welling up. This is one of the things that we have to grapple with in our time, is the loneliness because of these massive changes we've gone through on the heels of the pandemic, on the heels of the extremely divisive political climate that we're in. We've lost so much in terms of connection. So once again, I am so happy to be able to do this and feel connection, even though I can't have a true two-way conversation with you guys. I still see you engaged, and I feel that engagement. So we need to address, though, the loneliness, any loneliness that we may be feeling. And let's read. Okay, this is one of the things I hate about this deck. Do you see this pattern in the background? It makes it extremely difficult for me to read, so I'm going to use my magnifier here. You can be solitary without feeling lonely. And I was going to say, loneliness was something that haunted me when I was younger, until I went through my first chunk of healing. And I can't say that I've been lonely since then. Okay, so you can be solitary without being lonely. Your true power comes from the inside out. Okay, I can't, this doesn't even work. I've got to use this, so sorry. It's going to get bright here for a second. That makes it better. All right. Your true power comes from the inside out. Are your fears real? You cannot let unnamed fears interrupt your own peace of mind. You should be aware of your ancestors and the bloodlines that have created you. Hello. So the duality of it is solitary/lonely, fearsome/fearful. All right. I'm not going to read the whole thing. The plant companion is fennel. The crystal companion is tourmalinated quartz. Okay, so let's look at that solitary/lonely and fearsome/fearful. So we can be feeling fear around something that isn't actually fearsome. The fear is residing in us. And then we can have experiences that really are fearsome and maybe not be afraid of them because we trust ourselves, we know we have skills. So it's important to look at our concepts of alone versus lonely. And the concept, I am really digging this, that duality of fearsome and fearful. This is going to be a really fruitful thing to check in with and help us to identify where the fear lies. And so is it something I can address in me, or is it something that's truly outside of me? Then the second one we have here is the Kraken, and this, of course, is in the category of deep. Okay, everybody say it. 3-part harmony. 1, 2, 3. Release the Kraken! All right. It is good not to know everything. And mystery is the key word here. Great mysteries can fill you with wonder, and this is a very positive state. Be curious. You do not have to share everything with everyone. Hello again. You can be selective about who you share the minutiae of your life with. Value your privacy. We were just talking about that. Your sacred stories, your experiences of magic. Choose who you share them with. So the duality here is seen, not seen, and revealing all, mystery. Okay, let's define mystery first of all. Mystery is something unknown. That's the first thing. You know, a mystery, a good mystery is, ooh, I don't know the answer to this. There's a question. Mystery is a question. But mystery in a spiritual context is about lessons that can be learned but can't be taught. This is the experiences of magic that we're talking about. That's what mystery is. It's when you have that unbelievable experience and you have to believe it because it's happening to you and it changes you inside. It cracks you wide open. Mystery is also defined as the lessons we become. So it's these experiences that affect a sea change in our very being, in our understanding, in our connection. So let's take a look at the third one here. Nyx. Hi, Tavia. Here is Nyx, darkness. And so she is, of course, part of the dark. The set of dark people, dark entities, the ones who reside in the dark, the ones who revel in the dark. The darkness is necessary. It is the place of possibility and rest, and you're obviously listening to our conversations. Thank you. Thank you for that. It is natural and beneficial to experience some cycles of darkness. You can illuminate your way through dark times. Not everything unpleasant is evil. Weren't we just talking about that, Samantha? Dark is not always macabre. Not everything unpleasant is evil. And as I used to tell my kids, just because something hurts doesn't mean it's going to harm you. So like going to the doctor and you got to get a shot or you got to get something that's going to hurt, being upfront with kids and being upfront with yourself too when you're getting ready to go through something that could hurt. That just because it hurts doesn't mean it's harmful. Think of childbirth. Hurts like the fucking devil. And it's process pain. It's not harmful pain, it's becoming pain. So just because something hurts doesn't mean it's harming you. Just because something's unpleasant, because we don't prefer it, it doesn't mean it's evil or wrong. So let's take a look here. I don't know if I have to say anything more about this. I don't know if I have to wrap them all together. You know, this is talking about things that we've touched on already tonight, each in its own time. Talking about allowing yourself to be in solitude, in that place where you can really let your guard down and be sensitive, the way this Neptune in Cancer is calling us to. Go into the deep, dark mystery. Allow magic to show itself to you. Take that experience into yourself and very carefully consider who deserves that story. And then the darkness here. The dark part of the year. Is it evil? No. No, it's not. It's part of the circle. It's part of the cycle. It's part of nature, life, death, light and dark. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Yes, this Deep Dark Dangerous deck is really great. Getting more done when you're asleep than when you're awake. No kidding. I understand that. I've been doing some dream journaling, and it's been pretty interesting. Faithfully playful, not fearfully petrified, right? Solitary people are often perceived as fearsome. Yes, Catherine, you know, I saw something today, And it talked about somebody saying to someone else, to a woman, she's intimidating. And someone else saying to them, is she intimidating or are you intimidated? So again, that fearsome, fearful thing, where does the fear reside? I have been accused of being intimidating more times than I can possibly count. I have been accused of all kinds of things by people who do not know me. But whatever I represent to them, they can decide that, they're the ones that are going to be fearful about it. But what we do is we project, and rather than owning, I am fearful, is this something worthy of fear? I need to address it in myself. We are much more comfortable projecting it and saying, you're scary. Not just, I'm scared of you, that. And if you tell somebody I'm scared of you, it kind of, the other side of that blade is, because you're scary, but those aren't necessarily linked. Not necessarily linked. So excellent observation, Catherine. Angela Lansbury. See, I've never seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Oh my goodness. Nyx. Yes, Nyx and Erebus. It's amazing. The dark is absolutely sacred. And I'm finding myself being much more awake as things get dark. In the afternoon, I'm like, but as the dark comes on, there have been a couple nights when I came up here at 9:30 or 10 and started beading. And, 12:30, almost 1 o'clock, it's like, okay, I guess I need to be done because my husband wants to go to sleep. So I'm definitely going to be going into our basement, which is the third bedroom here, and setting up and doing beading there, because sometimes the night is when my brain really wakes up. So, one more? Okay, we can do one more. Off the top, Samantha, or should I cut? All right, let's just do this and see what happens. One more, please, for Samantha. One more. Got my eyes closed, so I can't see what's... Oh. There we go. Charon, reciprocity. And he is also in the dark part of the deck. Okay. You must find balance in acts of giving and receiving in all ways, but in particular, in your give and take with the earth, you must learn to reciprocate. Giving, receiving, acceptance, rejection. Okay, when someone died in ancient Greece or Rome, a coin was placed either in the mouth of the dead or upon their eyes. This was the important part of the ritual of an important part of the ritual of death, because without coins, the recently departed could not pay the ferrymen. Charon, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Charon was the ferryman of Hades, the son of Erebus and Nyx. Oh dear, so much fun. His responsibility was to ferry the souls of the dead over the rivers of death, so he is what is called a psychopomp, a guide of the dead. The two rivers he worked were the Styx and sometimes the Acheron, the river of sorrow. These rivers separated the worlds of the dead and the living, so it was important that the newly dead were able to journey across safely. Also, Charon ensured that no dead traveled back the other way. So this is the ferryman. This is the one that crosses the boundaries. And I want to remind myself here of giving and receiving. So you pay for passage. Acceptance, rejection. This is reminding me of my high school graduation and the speech that was given by a UU minister, which was called Take What You Want and Pay For It. And he's like, you can have anything you want in life, but be willing to pay for it. There's a give and take. There's a giving and receiving. Okay, let's see here. Part of the ritual. So, also talking about that cross traffic between us sensitives and psychics and the other side. So, Charon, one of his jobs is to not allow the dead souls to pass back into the world of the living. But the fact that there is someone that can cross that, and raven is another one of those. There are many animals that are considered with the ability to cross that boundary. And here at Samhain time, that's one of the things we do, is we scry, we look to connect with the ancestors, we look for messages from them. So this is reciprocity. So if you're looking for answers, connection, information from your ancestors, what are you willing to give? So start thinking about what it is you will offer at Samhain time in exchange for the support given by your ancestors, the information that they're here to give you. That's what I'm getting from that one. Okay. I can't fall asleep until sunrise is coming. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've been sleeping quite well lately, and I'm very grateful for that. Oh, looky, here's another one that wanted to come out, and it's Hades. The underworld. Here's, Samhain time. All right, let's look at this. Charon and Hades. And Tavia, I love that your puppies have shown up. My grammar is horrendous tonight. Everything has a cycle and and a time span. Death is a natural part of life. Plan a legacy. Plan a legacy. What matters most? You know what my legacy plan is? This channel is part of it. Knowing this helps you live a better life. Knowing what matters most to you. Move through change. What ideas have passed their use-by date and can be left behind? Let's go back to that first reading. And the thief of time, the thief of thought and emotion, and what it is we can leave behind. The duality is death and life, knowing and unknowing. So, yeah. What at Samhain time we look at what cycle has come to an end. What has naturally come to an end, and it's time to bury it. It's time to pay the ferryman and let him take it away. Yes, 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 I'm loving this deck. The unboxing reading I wasn't so thrilled with, but since then it has really been amazing. Okay. Can't make this shit up. I absolutely agree, Becca. That's why I love to do this, because it's like, yeah, this is magic. This is how it works. When you open the door and you trust and you ready yourself to experience amazing things, they show up. And our last deck is Grimalkin's Curious Cats. So we end with kitties. All right, and there's 13 watching now. Thank you for that. All right. I'm going to give it another one. These are chunky decks. Chunchy, as my son would say. Goddess is alive, magic is afoot. Absolutely, it's real. It's the way the system works. All right, Grimalkin's Curious Cats. Who wants to come out and talk to us? You do? Who else? Oh, everybody. Not all you. We have you and you. Who else? I'm going to turn it this way because, yep. And we're going to take you, and then we'll see where we go. So we have the Wheel of Fortune first. Indeed, the wheel turns. And we can't stop it. It's not our job to stop it. It's unnatural to try to stop it. I got really pissed off in the late 80s, early 90s when Deepak Chopra started doing all this stuff about immortality, and how we can live forever and how we can fool our body into, believing we're in our 20s again, and we can reverse aging, and we can do all this stuff. And it's like, and then what's going to happen, Deepak? If nobody dies and people keep having babies, what do we suppose is going to happen? And it just pissed me off. And that's when I bid adieu to old Deepak. Okay, let's see. Building a relationship with the deck. Well, and you don't have to. These decks, I am at, I think it's 348 now. You hear me say, I never reach for this deck. I haven't looked at this deck in a long time. I don't have like a real active relationship with these decks. And magic comes through anyhow. So you don't have to. You don't have to have that solid relationship. Let's get 13 thumbs up. Yes, please. Yes, oh, please, oh, please. Hit the like button. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, I know. Okay. At hand and afoot. Goddess is alive. Magic is afoot. There's the chance. Goddess is alive. Magic is afoot. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune, again, talking about that natural cycle. What a great wrap up. We are here to celebrate that circle, that ever-turning wheel, and celebrate equally every single part of it. And as witches, we celebrate most of all the bottom of that wheel, the dark part of that wheel, the part of the wheel that muggles fear and that they would like to get rid of, and they don't want to celebrate because we are the wise ones and we know better and we know about magic. We celebrate the whole wheel, and most especially, we celebrate the part of that wheel that allows things to die. The Star. Because we have hope. Our knowledge of magic, our knowledge of this wheel, connects us with the cosmos, connects us with spirit, connects us with inspiration and art, and gives us hope. We don't have to see the outcome ahead of us to know and trust that it's going to be okay. And the Two of Pentacles talks about deft handling of physical matters. It can talk about decisions as well, but it talks about being able to navigate through that give and take, through that, balancing up and down, through kind of juggling of energies. I want more. I want more. Two of Pentacles is the balance. The balance, the balance, the balance. Okay? We have the Devil showing up here again, and the Page of Cups. Look at that Devil. Look at the mouse traps. So in avoiding all of these mouse traps, the only place the mouse has to go is into the cat's mouth. So where are we driven when we are constantly trying to avoid the things that make us afraid? That's what the Devil is showing me here. That we get entrapped and into big trouble when we are so concentrated on avoiding the things we're afraid of that the only place to go is straight into the Devil's mouth. And the Devil, to me, always talks about things that have more control of us than we have of them. So it drives us into, fear drives us into a place where we are controlled by external forces that we cannot control. Then we have the Page of Cups here. Time to check in emotionally. Look at the truth of it. What is it that I'm really feeling? Is the fear inside me or outside me? How have I let it run me around? Okay. Chocolate. Yes, I have a bowl of like supreme dark Dove downstairs. All right. We've got a few more. Let's see where we go. All right, they're coming up reversed. We'll see. But they're all three reversed, so I'm going to turn them. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have Temperance. And we have the World. Okay. So what I'm hearing with Four of Pentacles is getting your ducks in a row. So we've got the 2 here and the 4 here. How do we juggle our resources? How do we manage our resources without pinning them down? Without trying to stake them down to the ground so nothing can move, right? We have to let things move. We have to let the wheel turn. We can't let the fear of loss, the fear of, our resources going away, drive us into the cat's mouth, drive us into a much bigger trap. So Temperance here, look at the fish showing up. Temperance is about self-control. Temperance is about assimilating and letting go, taking in what serves, letting go what doesn't. So integration, assimilation, but also balance. Also, I mean, when you think about temperance, people talk about having a temper. I have a bad temper. And so we kind of think of temper as meaning anger itself. But what temperance means, temper is strength. When you temper a blade, I think it's called annealing. I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong about that, but it's heating that blade, plunging it into water, and it tempers the metal and makes it much stronger. So temperance is about going through the extremes, the flame, the quenching, and how that makes you stronger, how assimilating those experiences into yourself makes you stronger and gives you more control. And then we have the World, and this opens up everything to us. When we can acknowledge where the fear resides, in us or outside of us, and we are willing to face those fears, like from the very first deck, we are willing to face those fears, we are willing to use our resources, make decisions about it, and let things flow. Let things flow, Four of Pentacles, rather than clamp down. I love the poppies showing up everywhere. Do you see them? Boom, boom, poppies. This deck. This is another deck that I have virtually no experience with beyond the unboxing. Okay? And yet, the guides are the ones that are driving. But Temperance at the center there says it all comes down to our relationship with ourself and how, and that self-knowledge, watching ourselves through experience and learning, learning about ourselves by going, look at what happened to me, how I reacted, what was that like, assimilating that and letting it change us, that initiatory experience. And that is what opens up the world of possibilities to us. This is where we end up with the all-access pass to our lifetime, to our own resources, to our own talents. And the all-access pass is all about also acknowledging that I have far more influence and effect on what goes on than a Muggle would believe, because magic is real. Phew, okay, catching up. Let's see. Chocolate? Gets chocolate on keyboard. 2 Pinnacles. Okay, I'm sure that's 2 of Pentacles. Also about infinite possibilities. Open up more choices than you may be allowing yourself to see. Dark chocolate with salted peanuts. Oh, hell yeah. I've got cashews and macadamia nuts and pistachios downstairs along with really dark chocolate. So I also had dried mangoes, but boy, I have to be careful. When I buy dried mangoes, I will blast through the whole package in no time at all. It's like crack to me. Okay. Edible eyeballs. Okay, getting ready to make boo balls. Hold on. Okay, getting ready to make boo balls with the cream, dark chocolate, raisins, walnuts mixed in with, oh, yum, yum, yum. Edible eyeballs and Frankenstein orange for a pumpkin. That's wonderful. Yep, I like the devil card too. It just gave me a lesson that I had never considered before. Um, yeah. So thank you, Grimalkins. Thank you, wonderful catty cats. And thank you, guides. Thank you, Spirit. So let's just take a moment here as I close this up because as, what was it, a Cheech and Chong thing, I think, of Oola Wee, I sure gotta pee. I want to take a moment to say thank you. First of all, to guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you to Connection itself for the messages that came through tonight, for the experience of magic, and thank you to those of you who show up for this. Show up to experience this with me and let me play. Give me an arena to play in. I am beyond grateful. If you feel so moved, there are a couple links down below that you can shoot me some coffee money or some brandy money. I'm out of brandy, and I'm also kind of out of money because my electric bill was more than double this month. So, if you feel so moved, if you don't, I understand as well. We're all going through it. There's also the wish list below. There's also the Magic Planet link where you buy something and I get points. Nobody's ever done it, so I don't really know how it works. But just thank you for being here. As we move forward into Samhain season, there will be another live next Wednesday, but I think I'm going to do a third live either before Samhain or on Samhain. Samhain is Monday. So let me know. Hi, Stephanie. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. If you are going to be in ritual that night, then maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll do it like on Tuesday or Sunday night. Let me know, would you? Because I would really like for all of our regulars to be able to be here. But I do want to do a live. I would love to do it on Samhain. And of course, we would do a little bit more ritual and certainly be playing with decks, playing with the Samhain decks. So next Wednesday, you can look forward to the Halloween decks. And I mean, I could do a live every night and have 6 decks every night and probably not run out of my Samhain season decks. But anyway, we're not going to go that crazy. Yes, brandy sounds good on a night like tonight, and I don't have any. So anyhow, all right, you guys, take care. Blessings to you all. Please remember to ground. Put your feet on the ground, put your hands on the ground, have something to eat. If you felt a huge rush of energy when we grounded and ran energy, please give back anything that you don't need. So until I see you next time, know how very much I love and value you and your presence here. Till I see you again, blessed be.